Hello children, welcome to this class. After a long time, I think you should be feeling rather lonely to attend this English class. My dear children, some of you enjoy playing, some of you enjoy reading, some of you might enjoy watching TV. But we are going to see a special school where children learn from morning to evening, and they learned according to their wish. Come, let us see the first chapter of this lesson. The first lesson, Education for Life. A day in the ashram. Before going into the lesson, I think I should introduce you the author of this lesson. The author of this lesson you see on the screen is C.F. Andrews. This C.F. Andrews is not an ordinary man. He is a priest. Lived between 1871 to 1940. He was a freedom fighter, and especially an Indian freedom fighter, and a priest of Church of England. And he was an educator too. He was a closest friend of Mahatma Gandhi ji. Dear children, you must be wondering how a foreigner is a freedom fighter. You should know that there were many foreigners who supported us in this freedom struggle, and among them one was C.F. Andrews, and he became a closest friend of Mahatma Gandhi ji. You see in the picture that they are together, and you can see in the next picture how close they were. C.F. Andrews and Gandhi ji, both of them shared ideas, and he was so much impressed by Gandhi ji. He himself, though he was a foreigner, became an Indian freedom fighter. And I was talking about a school, and this school, or in those days it was called as ashram, known as Shanti Niketan. You see on the picture on the board, look at that board. Shanti Niketan, actually it was started by Devendranath Tagore. Have you heard of Devendranath Tagore? No? Some of you yes? Yes. Now, you see the picture of Devendranath Tagore. Who is this Devendranath Tagore? Yes, you're right. Some of you must know his name. Yes? Yeah, you're right. He is none other than father of Rabindranath Tagore. You know Rabindranath Tagore? Everybody should know his name, right? Now let us see his picture. See, this is Rabindranath Tagore, and the ashram Shanti Niketan that was started by Devendranath Tagore continued and developed by his son Rabindranath Tagore. You see, it was started with a very few students. Those days it was an ashram, but later on Shanti Niketan was turned into a university, and now we call it Vishwa Bharati University. On your screen, please look at those pictures, how Vishwa Bharati University was. See, this is the entrance of the Vishwa Bharati University, and on to your corner of that picture, you see the emblem of Vishwa Bharati University. You can see some more pictures there. This is one more picture of Vishwa Bharati University. Okay, children, now so far we saw about the author, a foreigner who visits the ashram, and he was so much impressed by the activities of that ashram, the timetable, the children, and he was so much impressed and he writes it. And that is today's lesson, a day in the ashram. Now would you please open your textbooks, take lesson number 1, a day in the ashram. Now go to the first paragraph. Are you ready now? Shall we start? Yes. Now first I shall read for you. As I read, you just follow me. If you have a pencil in your hands, please underline the new words, then later on let's clarify it. Now I shall read for you. Words cannot picture to you the beauty of Shanti Niketan. Our own poet and teacher, whom we call Gurudeva, has named it in his song, The Darling of Our Hearts, and is worthy of the name. All who have visited the ashram, old and young alike, have felt its inner beauty growing more and more upon them. Now just look at the paragraph once again, and some of the words have been highlighted. Just go through them. Yes. Now second paragraph. If I were to describe to you one day in the ashram with the boys, that would perhaps best bring home to you its inner beauty. Long before sunrise, like the birds in our own amloki groves, our boys are awake. The choristers are the first to rise, and they go around the ashram singing their morning hymn. You can hear the voices in the distance, drawing nearer and nearer, and then the sound dies away. As the choir passes on to another part of the ashram, and then again it comes nearer and nearer. The beauty of the sound in the silent morning air and the sense of the joy and reverence which it brings give peace to the soul. I think, my dear children, some of you may not have understood certain words, but early in the morning, everything is silent, and you can hear only the sound of birds, and you see a group of boys go around the ashram singing hymns. See, in those days there were no sound system. Nowadays we have sound system, and early in the morning temples, churches, they play hymns in the morning. But in those days there were no sound systems. They were not so popular. And what Rabindranath Tagore did was, there was a team of choristers, and they went around the ashram singing. See, when you get up early in the morning, you have got so beautiful feeling, and that was there in that ashram. Now, in the past two paragraphs, we have come across some new words. Let us see some of the new words. You see, in the first paragraph, there was a word, describe. What is the meaning of describe? It describes means give a detailed account in words. That means The situations was so beautiful, you simply cannot describe it. So you see, the feeling is different. That is the meaning of describe. And we say our own Amloki forms. What is this Amloki? See, Amloki actually is a Sanskrit word. You might have heard Amla. Amla means gooseberry. The Indian gooseberries are known as Amla. And there was a small forest of these gooseberry trees. And on those trees there were birds. That is why they refer it as Amloki groves. See, there is one more word. Next word is groves. Groves means a small forest of Amloki trees. That is Amla or gooseberry trees. The next word is choiristus. Some of you might be knowing this word. Choir. A member of a choir is a choirister. What is the meaning of choirister? Choirister means a group of singers trained to sing together. Usually choiristers sing, they don't sing film songs and all, they sing holy songs, devotional songs. Yeah. Next word is reverence. Reverence means respect, usually in a sacred manner. It is when we see our elders or when we see something, we join our hands. That is showing our reverence or respect. Next word is soul. Soul. What is this soul? See, here they say the spirit of or the essence of a person, but in Sanskrit or our language or mother tongue we say Atma. Atma is known as soul. When we see something nice, our soul feels very nice. Dear children, shall we go to the next chapter, next paragraph now? Are you ready? Got it? Yes. Now, third paragraph. Are you ready? Yes. After an interval, each boy takes his asan. You see that? The word is highlighted, asan. What is that? We'll see afterwards. His square of carpet into the fields and sits down on it to meditate in his own place alone. Later on, before the school work begins, the boys all stand together in the shade of the trees and sing their hymn. Fourth paragraph. Till about 10:30, the work of the school goes on. We have no classrooms. The boys sit with their teachers in the open air under the trees. In olden days, we called it Gurukula system, and same thing they followed there. There are no larger classes. A group of 8 or 10 boys are seated around the teacher, asking him questions. Very few books are used. I repeat, very few books are used. A greater part is carried on through conversation. The boys soon learn to open out all their difficulties to their teachers, and the teachers get keenly interested in the boys' questions and answers. Such living education can never be dull. Got it, children? See, the third and fourth paragraph tells us activities after the morning. They say after they rise, what they do? They do the meditation. See, they take his asan. What is asan? Asan means a sitting posture for meditation. We sit straight, close our eyes and meditate. So before that, we sit in a posture that is called asan and sits to meditate. What do you mean by meditate or meditation. Meditate means to pray silently. You pray to God. You sit, close your eyes and you meditate. Later on, before the school work begins, the boys all stand together in the shade of the trees and sing. That means before the classes, see, their classroom is nothing but under the trees. And there before the classes, sing their hymns. What we do in our schools, before the classes, we assemble for assembly and there we sing. But in Shantiniketan, they assemble under the trees and they sing their hymns. In fourth paragraph, see, till about 10:30, the work of the school goes on. The learning activities goes till 10:30. Then he says, we have no classrooms. So now you have got desks, benches, walls and all. No, they do not have such kind of classrooms. The boys sit with their teachers in the open air. They sit in the open air under the trees. There are no larger classes nowadays. In our classes there are 30, 40, 50, even some classes 80. But their classes only 8 or 10 boys. There are only 8 to 10 boys. Sit around the teacher. See how nice. Sit around the teacher. And one important thing you observe here, asking questions. Do you ask questions to your teachers? No. You don't ask questions to your teachers. Usually the teacher asks questions and he himself answers the questions. But in Shantiniketan, student asked questions to the teachers. And what happened there? You see, they asked questions, and they say very few books are used. See, hardly they use any books. Everything done by memory. A greater part is carried on through conversation. A greater part. So most of the time there was conversation. What is this conversation? See, exchange of ideas through talking. I talk with the students and you talk with me. See, we share the ideas. Sometimes I may not be knowing something, you will be knowing. And some things you may not be knowing, I will be knowing. So we both share the ideas, share our opinions. See, in this class, in Shantiniketan, the teacher and the students shared ideas. And see, through conversation, see, go for next, you see there, the boys soon learn to open out to their difficulties, to their teachers, and the teachers get keenly interested. You see that? Keenly interested. See, if I alone keep talking and you will be listening, then finally what happens? You will go to sleep. So in a class, we both should be talking. You should be talking to me and I should be talking to you. Here, the students ask questions to the teacher and the teacher answers them. See, when you ask questions to me, my interest or the teacher's interest increases and automatically the class turns into a very interesting place of discussion. And that's what happening here. See, when they ask the questions, the teachers get keenly interested in the boys and questions and answers. Such living education, C.F. Andrews says, this is known as the living. What is that? Living education. What do you mean by living education? See, we educate each other. We do not become the bookworms, simply reading the books. No. Discuss each other, share ideas. That is how the classes are going on. And he says this kind of living education can never be dull. It won't be dull. It will be very, very interesting. My dear children, how do you feel? So next class, I won't be telling you, but you should ask me questions and I will answer you. Before I go, now I want to know how much you have understood or how much you you have come to know about this Shantiniketan. I will ask you a question. Now, the first question is, ready? Look your screen. The first question is, who named the school Shantiniketan? You got it? Who named the school Shantiniketan? Yes, I know. Some of you got the answer. Did you? Yes. The answer is, the school Shantiniketan was named by Gurudeva. Remember, in the first paragraph, the student or the children of the Shantiniketan called, whom did they call? Rabindranath Tagore was called by Gurudeva, and he named the school Shantiniketan was named by Gurudeva. Okay? The second question for you is, when does the day in Shantiniketan begin? When does the day in Shantiniketan begin? Yes. Got it? When does? Yeah, your answer is there. The day in Shantiniketan begins long before sunrise. Long before sunrise. What time did you get up? 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock? No. Children in Shantiniketan got up long before sunrise. See how nice. Okay, fine. Next question. What is termed by Gurudeva as the darling of our hearts? See, Gurudeva wrote a song, and in that song he says, what does he say? The darling of our, what is called? Yes, Shantiniketan. The ashram Shantiniketan is termed as by Gurudeva as the darling of our hearts. Next question, the final question. The boys and who else are the early risers in Shantiniketan? In second paragraph, I told you the boys, the choristers, were the early risers. Along with them, who else? Tell me. Got it? Yes. The boys and the birds in the Amloki groves. The birds in the Amloki groves were the early risers in the Shantiniketan. My dear children, you find these questions in your textbooks. Now, after this class, you have to write these questions and you should answer them. If you do not find the answer, please refer the textbook. The next part is a little bit of grammar. Grammar. Homophones. Have you heard these words in 7th standard? Some of you yes and some no. Now look your screens. I went to a shop, dash car to dash or TV. You find there buy slash buy. Buy. Children, observe here. Both words have the same pronunciation, but the confusion is which word comes first and which word comes to next that gap. Yes, I shall do it for you. I went to a shop, buy car, B-Y, buy car, to buy a TV, B-U-Y, buy a TV. Buy car means means of transport. To buy a TV, to buy means to purchase. So what did you notice here in this example? See, there the both words have same pronunciation but have what? Different spelling and meaning. Such words are called homophones. I repeat once again. I repeat. They have same pronunciation, different meaning and different spelling. Now, what is a homophone? What is a homophone? Your answer is homophone is a set of words with same pronunciation but having different meaning and spelling. What is a homophone? Homophone is a set of words with same pronunciation but having different meaning and spelling. Got it, children? Okay, so very simple. Now I'll give you an assignment. Before the assignment, here are some examples for you. See there, weak and weak. See, weak and weak. W-E-A-K, weak, that is physically weak or weak in some other way. Another weak is W-E-E-K, W-E-E-K, weak, that is set of 70s. See, the meaning is different, spelling is different, but its pronunciation is the same. Again, next is the same pair of words that was in the example, by and by. Now, what is the assignment for you? The assignment is very simple. Yes, the assignment is just prepare 10 pairs of homophones. Now, you sit down, not here, after the class, sit down and make 10 pairs of homophones. The next assignment for you is in vocabulary section. Here in the first paragraph we saw the use of words nearer and nearer. See, it is the word near. It is the word near. Then it is, they say the sound as it draws nearer and nearer. What is this nearer and nearer? Yes. See, the sentence is like this in the textbook. You can hear the voice in the distance drawing nearer, nearer and nearer. See, near. Now, like this, you have to make many more. I'll give certain examples. See, some of the examples are given for you, and this one you note it down. Take your pencil. Take a pen or a pencil, your notebook, and note it down. See, when you blow air into the balloon, it becomes dash and dash. See, the clue is given in the bracket, big. I won't tell you. You should write on your own. Okay? Like this, few more are given. See there, second one, loud. As the train approaches near, its sound of whistle becomes dash and dash, and the clue is loud. Next one is, man has been constructing dash and dash buildings in cities. In the bracket, the clue is tall. And the last one is, as you move away from a tree, by bicycle or a vehicle, something like that, while moving, as you move away from it, it looks dash and dash, and the clue is small. My dear children, I hope you have enjoyed the class. Now, thank you for being with me in this class, and I'm sure you have enjoyed. Thank you.